Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to another segment of the Proactive Protection podcast with your host, Lynette Hillian. She's in the house.
Hey,
Hey, how's
how
it
y'all
going? How's
doing?
everything?
It's cold. It's getting cold.
Oh, it is. Well, we definitely gonna need some protection from that cold for sure. Yeah.
Most definitely. Just like
Yeah.
when it's cold, you need to put a coat or jacket on. Same thing with proactive protection.
Like that. That's what's up.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
good.
Well, she's here to take your questions or comments or so. Hey, spread the word. All right. As we talk about proactive protection. And yes, we all want to be protected in some form or fashion. It's all about feeling safe. All right. So,
Exactly.
yes. Hey, well, there you go, Miss Hillian. Go ahead and take it away.
Good evening, afternoon. How are you all? It's the middle of the week. I hope you've had a great week thus far. As I said before, it's starting to get cool. Miss Hillian is not necessarily a fan of cold weather. So I adjust by, putting on a coat or a jacket, whatever. So just like with that, how we protect ourselves against the cold or extreme temperatures is the same thing we should do with proactive protection. Same thing, because there's security. So today's topic is it focuses on those who are young adults and why is it they should even consider proactive protection, why even bother with that. So there are a couple of reasons, and if you have young adults in your families that you connect with, this information is important for you. So especially if you want to start those conversations about why or why they should consider proactive protection as a young adult, then you are able to pass on this information and also my phone number. So the reason being is that as a young adult, oftentimes it may be the point where your health may be at optimal. It may not be, but no matter the case, it is a great time to secure proactive protection. It's a great time to do that. Other reason being, if you decide, and remember, permanent proactive protection is those that will go throughout your lifetime. Term, on the other hand, is for a specific period. So your permanent proactive protection options accumulate cash value, which means it grows. Okay. So with that being said, the longer that your which in terms of what monies are placed there for it to grow and accumulate, you have more time versus if you wait to when you're older. So it has more time to grow, which is important. It's more time to grow, to sit there, and then you're able to use it later on. Need be. So that's one of the reasons as a young adult, you seriously think about doing that now. When it grows, it's compound interest, which means it compounds. And so the longer you allow that to happen, the more you will build up that cash value. And I know some of you think, well, Lynette, I'm good. I'm not really concerned about that right now. Well, that's why it's called proactive, because we need to start thinking about those now, not later on, not when something happens. Now, if something does occur, of course you can call. Of course you can call me. But I want to prepare you as much as I can now. And the other thing is this: if you're fairly healthy, let's think about this. The older that we get, and when it comes to premiums, that means whatever you're paying in terms of, or the commitment you have in paying for your proactive protection option, will maybe higher, a lot higher. being that if you don't have a lot of medical conditions and things of that nature. And again, that's not something that I decide as an independent advisor. Again, there's a process with that in terms of meeting with me, and we have a discussion, and I advise. And then after the next step, there's the application process. And of course, I don't decide whether someone is granted coverage or not. That is not what I do. I advise just to make sure you're informed about what your options are, and then to guide you on what's best for you that meets your needs. So it's very important that we start thinking about proactive protection as soon as possible. As I said before, there's certain options where the child can be 15 days old and could be covered. Okay. So,
Wow.
yeah. And so I keep reiterating that because it's never too early to do it. Never too early. 15 days old. Perfect opportunity. And it follows them throughout their life.
So the sooner the better, then, pretty much.
The sooner the better. Pretty much. That's it. That sums it up. The sooner the better that you're able to secure that proactive protection is going to be best.
I'm wondering, will life have to happen to a young person, for them to finally get the message, or is that the majority of the consensus? Or it's hypothetical question, just wondering.
It tends to be better when they're younger because of those other factors in terms of, if they are indeed qualified for a particular option, then the premium is lower, and it stays that way if it's a permanent policy. And that's the one I said that has cash accumulation. That would be your whole life and final expenses and things of that nature, versus your term, where it's only for a specific period of time. There's nothing wrong with term. Don't get me wrong. It is not, because, it may just be for a specific period for you. But again, if you're looking for the cash accumulation, then a permanent policy or option would be best. That would be the only option, because term does not accumulate or grow. Cash does not grow. So go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, with the cash accumulation, I was thinking of young entrepreneurs. So, they could kind of use this twofold in a sense, if that makes sense.
They could. They could do that. And also we also, and that may be a whole nother episode, talking about how businesses can, when they, in terms of life insurance for their business, protecting their businesses.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, for us, even borrowing from that, to where it doesn't really affect your credit score, or again, I don't want to assume or so, but as opposed to getting a loan from a bank.
No, because you have to remember that it's like you're borrowing from yourself.
Correct.
So versus if I go to a bank and I get a loan, it's going to impact me if I for some reason am not able to, make that payment, in terms of my credit score. The way it will impact you if you have a proactive protection policy is that's going to take away from what you have, as it accrues and things of that nature. It's going to take away from that. So again, it's you're borrowing from yourself.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Again, guys, if you're watching, if you have any questions or comments, feel free. All right, Ms. Lynette Hillian is here for you for all your questions and comments. We're not selling you anything. We just want to give you information to make you aware of, and It's something that we all, a lot of people have little knowledge concerning when it comes to subjects like this, having that
Right.
type of protection.
Right. So I want to put this out in the air too. I know people say, well, you're an independent advisor. You are with carriers or insurance companies or insurers, all the same. And you say you're not here to sell me anything. And I'm not. I'm not here to sell you anything. Yes, I receive commissions, but that's not on your part. So that is not why I'm here. This information is free, so that's why it's not selling you anything, but it's helping you to determine what might be the best option for you, and when should you get started. As soon as possible. No time like the present right now. We need to do this. So it's not to sell you on anything or to say one is better than the other or a particular carrier is better than it. That's not what I'm here. I don't do that. It's not what I do. Based on, as I said before, it's individualized and it is based on what your needs are. Not on anyone else's, not what my needs are or anyone else's. It's on your needs and the needs of your family that is going to help secure that financial future for you. So it's important that we think about that. And I know some people shy away from it and they think because I'm young, I don't need that. There's no need for me to have it. And my thing is, my thought is, I'd rather have something in place, proactive protection in place, not need it, depending on what the option is, than to not have anything at all. So it's to help secure your financial future. So why not go ahead and take care of that today, now, in the present? So that's why that's important that we do that.
Yeah, that's a part of being proactive, and it's all about changing our mindset and getting out of our comfort zone.
Right.
So yeah, I totally get it. So why we don't do it with certain things. That's a mystery.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd be interested to find out just in some of my conversations with those young adults and or those that are graduating, and some they may already have it, and their parents may have the proactive protection for them. But again, that's fine. But in terms of for you, and if there's something you need to access later on, wouldn't it be great to have that too? And if you have a family or loved ones or those you're responsible for, it's important that you have your own proactive protection policy as well. It's very important that you do that because you have children or just things that come up in life. For example, I'm thinking of there are some options that we talked about before about living benefits, which is your critical, your chronic, and your terminal illnesses. Some of those options actually, we talked about riders last week, and that those are different options that you can add on to your actual policy. Some of those are at no cost, and some there is a cost to it as well. But again, it depends on the option that is that you select and select it. So it's good to go ahead and do this now. It's just important. I don't know how more, to say that it's important because I know it's important, and I like being transparent, and I've said it before that I've had we all, when we think about proactive protection, we tend to think about death only. Again,
Right.
we're living longer. We have to expand and think, okay, there's still that benefit, when I die and leaving something for my loved ones. That's fine. But what about if there's an option that that you qualify for, that can help you with quality of life while you're here, while you're living. So you have it for when you are here, and you may need to tap into that. You may have to do that. Now, on the other end, if you tap into it, it will decrease what is left for your loved ones. But still, we're thinking about you're here, quality of life, making sure your needs are met so that it does not put any undue stress on your family or those who love you, or those who are close and dearest to you. So it's important that we take a look at this, and we have to change how we. I mean, even with my parents, both of my parents, life insurance was a topic, and I say life insurance because that is what people refer to it as, life insurance. I prefer to call it proactive protection, because I am proactively protecting those I love, and also myself. I'm able to have a voice and make that choice now while I have a voice. So that's why I call it that. And we also have to change the narrative that it's not just about death.
Right.
So, but when we were having the conversation in my family, we talked about that. And that's something we make sure we secured. We make sure we talked to, when it came to my father, talking to him about, his wishes and things of getting those, because we need to have those conversations. So we know. So then when they do die, it's not, well, I don't know what he would want. I wouldn't know, what do I need to do? Where is everything? And that's just extra added stress on you. You don't want to experience that. You have enough that you're trying to grieve it at that point. So when my father, when he died, we'd always talked about having that proactive protection. So it wasn't stressful. It was already stressful. I mean, enough, but at least that wasn't one of the stressors. And being able to make sure that we took care of all of his, whatever expenses he had as a result of his death.
And I think that's very fortunate for you and your family to talk about that, because it's been marketed to millions of others as, again, this, it's life insurance, or so. It's always pretty much about death. And I think Dave Ramsey mentioned something about that. It's more, it's pretty much as death. And again, anything that's marketed numerous times or consistently put out there, then people tend to believe that. And so it's kind of like an uphill battle, pretty much trying to change the minds up or change the narrative, but it can be done. But
well, and it's okay to listen. And my thing is this: get as much information as possible. Get as much as you can. And then when it's time for you, you say, listen, I'm going to go ahead and do this proactive protection, Lynette, because you said it. And now, okay, I understand. I'm ready to sit down and have my appointment. These are the questions that I have. So that's the time you ask and say, well, I know this is things that I've read, because there's a lot, it's a plethora of information out there. There's so much information. You could go in, do a search, and just, oh my goodness, there is so much from you to choose from. So instead of trying to get to kind of navigate through all of that, talk to me. Instead of it, so then you're not trying to navigate that by yourself, because it's a lot. It's a lot to go through and say, well, these are some of the choices. This is some of the things I'd like to do, but I'm not sure where to start. So the starting point would be, give me a call, complete the form once you scan the QR code, and if you call me, please leave a message for me. I will definitely get back to you. So if I don't answer, because I'm also a teacher, so that doesn't mean you can't call me. It just means that, I may have to call you back.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. Because I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Guys. Again, how I guess it goes back to what you value as well. Not saying that you don't, but our actions normally speak louder than the words.
And also don't want, and I've seen it more and more. People contact me, and the catalyst for them was we had to bury a loved one, and they did not have any proactive protection. And so now the family members had to actually get that, kind of pull their money together, collect that in order to be able to bury them. And again, it's not just, as I said before, it's not just about death. So for example, if something should happen, you're living,
Hmm.
and you qualify for a particular option, then there may be some assistance for you in terms of one of those living benefits. So again, you have to qualify for those. They're not automatically given. That's why you go through the whole application process. And then the underwriters are those who basically take all of the information and make an informed decision based on the information that you've provided.
Good stuff right there. Good stuff. Hey, go ahead and scan the QR code if you want more information. All right, it's right there on the top left, top right, however that you're viewing it, and or just simply go ahead and give her a call. All right, again, she's here for you. Wow. So again, we're talking about the importance of proactive protection as young adults. As a young adult, if you're a young adult out there watching, this would definitely be good for you because there's a lot of great opportunities you can from based on what you has been saying that you can glean from having proactive protection.
It's a good time to do it. It's a great time to do it because if you're 20, 21 years old and you get a proactive protection, it's a permanent option, and you qualify for that. And so you're thinking, well, Lynette, I don't want to, I'm not thinking about retiring until maybe like I'm 50, 55, maybe. I mean, it's up to you. But that means think about the amount of time you had that with the permanent proactive protection option, that how long that it sits there and it compounds and compounds and compounds. So you're talking at least 25 years.
Wow.
I'm just saying. 25 years. And what you, in terms of when I say I don't investment, not like investment like stocks, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what you would, in terms of your premium, that's what you pay. It's going to be less. It's going to be less. Of course, there's some other factors that's why we ask these questions when we are completing an application. And again, just be honest and candid about it, because if you are, the better informed decision that an underwriter can make. And people often say, well, I have this condition, that condition. Well, you don't really know until you talk to an advisor.
That's it. That's it. Never assume, pretty much.
Don't assume it. Don't assume that at all.
Wow.
So,
Again, it's the number 757-598-2132. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
no, that's fine. You're fine. So the other thing with especially being young adults and working, and I know in past, some of us who are, what is the word? And I don't want to say older, who are seasoned and we're mature, and a lot of us, we remained with our employers for an extended period of time, and it seems as if there are others that decide, I have been at this particular job and I met my goal, and now I'm seeking another opportunity. So if you have a proactive protection with your employers, now, again, I'm not saying don't have that, because I do have them. In addition to my own that I have outside of my job. So I have that as well. But when you start to change jobs or career jobs or positions and go to another opportunity, then in terms of taking that with you, that particular policy option with you may not be an option for you because you're no longer with that particular company or employer. So if you're one, you said when you see an opportunity and you go after it, and maybe you're one place for 5 years, another place for 10, so then if that is a benefit that is offered to you, then because that was what they call, because it's an employer, then of course what you pay is going to be a lot less because there are a lot more employees. And so then if it's just you, individual. So why not be concerned with, well, here it is. I've left one job and I've had to leave that particular policy there and I could not take it with me. And I go to another and then I have my job and I see another opportunity, then I'm going to go towards that other opportunity. Again, I'm leaving that job and that particular option for proactive protection is left there because I'm no longer working for that particular employer. So I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying make sure that you have something there for you, that no matter where, what employer, who you're with, what have you, that you have that as well. That you have that. Because I do. I have that as well. I have with my job, and I also have one that is not connected to my job. And the other reason I say this is that it was shared with me some time ago that there was this particular person was with an employer, had been with the employer for years. And again, since we're focusing on young adults, I'm saying that, because we have different opportunities we like to embark on that are presented to us. But in this case, she was not a young adult. And so she'd been with this company for years. And in terms of having that benefit offered to her, they was no longer there. And she'd been there for years with them. So I just say, if you want to have, I'm not saying don't have one be your place. So let me make myself perfectly clear. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying just make sure that you have something else in addition to, if that is what you want to do. Because if that option is no longer there for you, what options do you have? And remember, you may be older. So you could go ahead and kind of tap into that now as a young adult and still have that there for you.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I may even consider it myself when I end up moving. So, and I guess like in between jobs. So, in case something happens, hey, I'm
Right.
still covered.
Exactly. That's what it's about. Being proactively protected as much as you can. As much as you can. Because you don't know you don't know. It's unpredictable. But
Wow.
what is predictable is that at some point you may need to tap into the proactive protection.
There it is.
For
Okay.
something.
Awesome. Well, man, time's almost about up. Man, it's flown by. If you enjoy this, hey, feel free to give her a call, all right, or scan the QR code there for more information. Because information is always flowing, but it's up to you whether or not to grab it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any words? Any last departing words you want to say to your people?
I would just say that just seriously consider it. If you're a young adult and you happen to be viewing the podcast, give me a call. I answer questions. Not a problem. There's no pressure whatsoever. My whole goal is to make sure you're informed.
There it is. Definitely. Well, hey, you all have a good one out there. And again, this is the Proactive Protection Podcast with Miss Lynette Hillian, independent advisor. Again, we come here each and every Wednesday. So spread the word. And again, make sure you give her a call. All right. She would definitely love to hear from you, or scan the QR code right there. All right. Until then, hey, we'll see you for another dynamic show. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Right.